beds and have fights, play fights, pillow fights before bed?
It's been known to happen, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have got us sort of been touring the tour bus and sharing the love.
Sure.
Amongst each other.
Good. Well, listen, all the best, because I mean, I'd hate to think that, you know, after this album you sort of all fall out and it all ends terribly. That would be horrible. Just fingers crossed, guys, that doesn't happen.
All right. Maybe we can go into press and write the press release.
Yeah, well, please, someone should. Maybe it's your people's fault. I haven't thought of that.
If they're fired.
Yes, good, jolly good. At least you're coming to do a session on this show, and at least one person's back out on the streets. Okay, well, so you're going to play another tune for us.
We are. Yes.
And is this from an album or?
This is the second single off Distraction, which is out on August the 4th, and it's called Echoes of Fashion.
Fantastic.
Echo of fashion.
Fantastic. Captain, live here in the studio. I've got a list of tour dates. I'm presuming that's your last tour, so I'm not going to read them out. Do you want to tell me, guys? Can people catch you live soon or in the future?
We're doing a little tour in April. It starts on the 17th in Al's hometown of Swindon, actually.
Right. Well, this list is correct, and then apparently we can also catch you in Birmingham, in Hull. Glasgow, that's been moved to May. Liverpool, York. You're playing somewhere called Sumo in Leicester. I don't know if you've been to Sumo.
Wow, it sounds.
Look forward to that. The venue in Derby. There probably is a name for that venue, but someone's just not quite figured that out yet. Whoever's written this list. In Warrington, there just appears to be a postcode. I mean, it really is very shoddily done. Check that out on the website. I'm sure there is a website, and every band now has one. I'm sure. Captain.com or something.
CaptainTheBand.com.
CaptainTheBand.com. There you are, and people can check that out. Listen, before we let you go, my little gang here will ask you a question in an effort to exact something from you that I've not. Harry.
Rick, apparently on the press release, which could well be wrong, it says you used to run an indie club called the Hat Club.
Yeah, me and Mario did it, yeah.
No, but you're the only one wearing a hat today.
Yes.
Was it called the Hat Club because of your love of hats?
It was, indeed. Yeah.
Was it, if you came down with a hat on, would you get in free?
No, in fact,
something
we
you
were
could have thought
hoping
about.
People would turn up with hats, but it didn't really work. It was called the Hat, and everyone turned up without hats. So.
Didn't really work, did it?
No, maybe the press release was something to do with it.
It said on the website and the press release, do not wear a hat. Whatever you do, don't wear a hat.
Ignore the name.
Yeah, we hate hats. Sammy, have you got a question for a hat?
I've got a question specifically for Claire. I'm a girl amongst boys, and you seem to be in the same situation as me. Does it get a bit testosterone-y? How do you cope?
I think I might be the most male out of everyone.
That's just not fair.
That's just lies.
So who are you pointing the feminine finger at?
No, they're all lovely boys. Actually, I have a great time. It's like having 4 big brothers.
Oh, isn't that sweet? It'll end in tears.
You're from Swindon, but you're known as a London-based band. So how did you meet? Are you all originally from London? Apart from you, Al, are you all from London?
I was born in London, yeah.
Oh, right.
And Maz obviously wasn't born in London, he was born in Greece,
right.
In Athens.
I'm from Devon.
Okay.
And Ruben.
I'm not entirely sure where I'm from. I guess London's probably a good.
And did you play kind of the dingy, kind of the Water Rats, all those sort of kind of bars and clubs in London when you were kind of on the way up?
Yeah, I mean we've all been musicians for a long time, whether it's in this band or other ones, but we've been up and down.
What was
all
the
of the motorways.
skankiest hole you've had to play in London?
In London? Oh right. God, we could get ourselves in trouble here. You'll never be playing here again. I don't know. London's actually all right. It's quite plush. Even the scummier end of it is quite nice, but there are some worse ones around the country.
We had a rough gig in Stoke, didn't we?
Yeah, they don't like us in Stoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're playing there 7th of May. According to... No, you're not. You're not. Incidentally, when you are playing live, Ruben, will you be bringing a drum kit?
Yeah, I will.
Good. All right, thank you very much indeed for that. Listen, guys, we've really appreciated you coming in. Thank you so much, and it's been wonderful. Best luck with the album. The album again is called
Distraction,
and it's available
August the 4th.
But the single is called...
the first one's called Keep an Open Mind,
and that's available
May the 5th.
All right. Definitely
specialised subject.
Definitely scrunch that up. Thank you very much indeed, guys. Round of applause, please, for Captain.
Live music.
Title track from The album Infected, released in 1986. That is Infected. Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant. Great feedback on the texts and the emails about Captain. People loving to hearing them in session. They thought they were great. So another little round of applause for those those gents and that lady. Very nice indeed. Ruth, we have to try and squeeze in your musical choice before we get to the news. What have you got for me?
Steve, I've got a Bristol-based artist.
Nothing wrong with that.
In deference to you. And I've got someone with a double-barreled surname in deference to me.
Excellent.
It's Martina Topley-Bird, who's back on the touring circuit. She's getting widely reviewed, and she's got a new album coming out. This is from her first album, Quixotic, and it's Need One.
Thank you. That's Rufus's choice on this week's Steve Show. What was it again, Ruf?
It was Martina Topley-Bird, Need One.
Thank you very much indeed. We were talking earlier, and I've still not really resolved it in my own head. I do not understand the appeal of motor racing. I cannot. It genuinely baffles me as to why that is of interest to anyone. I mean, again, I'm not just trying to, sort of take a sideways look at motorway racing. I have no opinion of motor racing. I don't understand why it's fun to watch. I don't understand why you want to go see just the cars go around the track maybe 25 times. You're not in the car. Maybe if you reach the car driving, it's not really. People go, oh, Lewis Hamilton. It's kind of the boffins who've designed the car that year, that've done most of the work. And they've all managed, because they got some slightly tinier nuts or something that year. That makes the car go faster, brilliant, by sort of, a quarter of a second or something. This is apparently interesting. If you're at the track, the car goes past, that's it.
Oh, and the noise, smell.
Noise and the smell, unbearable. I genuinely don't understand. I have no concept of why that's interesting to watch. I know now on the TV you can get in the cab, you hear what they're saying and stuff. Even that's boring. That's just not interesting, because it's like, oh, I'm driving fast, look at me, aren't I great? Or whatever. Sometimes in French. So I genuinely no idea. And we were chatting earlier, weren't we, Ruth, about how... Is that something you relate to? You relate to that?
Completely. On Formula One as well, and motor racing in general, the colossal nature of everything involved is so bizarre to me as well. The massive expenditure. The fact that McLaren got fined £60 million last year for that, for finding out about what the other team were up to. And I don't know where they got the money for. Well, obviously they've got a lot of money, but where did the money go? Where did £60 million go? Where? And also, environmentally, it's so hostile. It's just driving a car around. I can't drive my car down the road to pick up the shopping. I'm getting a hard time for that, and understandably. But we're just turning a blind eye to these guys driving around in a circle for 5 hours.
There's that fellow who was one of the top brass, who's just caught up in some kind of. I'm not going to name him. No, I'm not going to name him. But we know we're talking about the Nazi sex dungeon. Yeah. Even that makes more sense to me. Even the appeal of that makes more sense than what he does between the hours of 9 to 5. But the driving around. But we were just talking. There are things again which are just irrational. Maybe if you're out there and you love motor racing, you can kind of explain to me, via email or text. I'm sorry if we don't read it out. I apologise in advance. Maybe you can explain the appeal of it. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Please help. Yours sincerely, SJ Merchant. But anything's that occurred to you that you just can't understand?
I've never really got the appeal of films centred around the mafia and Italian-American gangsters. I find that...
we talked about this before. I don't understand.
They're so horrible to each other, Steve.
They're so horrible to each other.
Mean.
They pretend that they like each other, and they don't. And they all kill each other. And if somebody laughs at somebody else, that's just not on. You're not allowed to do that. So you get stabbed in the neck by someone, and then you get chucked off the Jersey Turnpike or something. I just think it's horrible. I don't like anything to do with
But you can surely understand why others do. You can understand why it's thrilling and it's exciting.
I never quite understood the glamour, the level of glamour that it's attained. The fact that it's kind of the final word in 20th century American culture is these vicious things that these villainous hoodlums say to each other.
Look at this villainous hoodlums. These villainous hoodlums. Oh, dearie me. Freddy Krueger. What a villainous hoodlum with his long, pointy fingers.
They constantly pretend that they're businessmen, and they're not businessmen, they're murderous
I think
villains.
What you don't like is gangsters.
It might
not
be gangsters.
necessarily films about gangsters.
But people quoting lines from these movies to each other in playgrounds or offices across the country, and I think, stop it. Quote another film.
Sure.
I can't.
Maybe quote that recent thing, Becoming Jane, about Jane Austen. Why can't we have some quotes of that?
Exactly.
Harry, you must have any number of irrational hatred you don't understand.
Yeah, my biggest one is dancing, Steve.
Dancing?
I've never...
What are you talking about?
I've literally never understood the concept behind dancing. I don't get any
But
enjoyment
that doesn't
from
make
it.
any sense.
But It's like, but the thing is, as a teenager, you're forced to go to these places where you have to dance. This is the only way you're gonna get a girl. You got to dance. You got to have a little dance. I hate dancing. I don't understand dancing. I don't know how it works. But having got through my life, I thought I'd put all the dancing behind me, and now, like, the one big dance you've got left is if you get married.
Yeah.
You've got
The first dance.
God knows how people get through that. I'm literally dreading that. I'm hoping it never comes. But the other one is now, because dancing is now, it's on the telly all the time. So, you know, henpecked husbands all over the country have been dragged out to go dancing. It's like you spent your whole life avoiding dancing, and now people are trying to foist it on us again.
But
and
surely you understand the appeal, you know, the native rhythms that we like to groove to.
But you know, that's what your fingers are for, tapping along.
You know, I don't agree with that. You're an idiot. Sammy, quickly.
Katie Melua, I don't understand how she's so successful. She drives me mad. Cage fighting, which my father loves,
Oh, no,
and he
that's
says it's
quality.
beautifully vicious. I don't understand that at all. And finally, Asda's book selection, which is 50% books about child abuse and 50% books about street criminals. Why are people getting
Which
joy
in
from
turn
this?
angers Rufus. Fantastic. All right, thank you very much indeed, guys. Maybe we'll continue this conversation the other side of the news. Maybe not, because we've got to delve into the pigeonhole. Let's not forget that. Here's the news.
On digital. Online.
From his 1993 album Liberation, Neil Hannon's Divine Comedy, and a single that should have been a hit, never really was, the pop singer's Fear of the Pollen Count. Something else that, of course, I'm allergic to. Found out this week. Great, looking forward to the summer. So it's a Steve Show, BBC6 Music with me and my little gang here, and each week we delve into our pigeonhole of new music, and we offer some vague and sort of ill-thought-out opinions. And the first up is a track, new single from the Zootons. We're all looking forward to this one enormously. Always Right Behind You. First single to be taken from their album You Can Do Anything, which is released on the 2nd of June, and that single out physically. You can buy it as an actual piece of thing 26th of May. Digitally you can download it from the 19th of May. It's the Zootons, Always Right Behind You. It's Steve Show 6 Music. We're delving into the pigeonhole. 3 new releases. That's first up. And Sammy, the Zootons, where do they sit in your pantheon?
I've always really loved the Zootons, bought both the albums, seen them a couple of times, think they're marvellous, but that didn't hit the spot for me.
Really?
Well, the first single off the last album was Why Won't You Give Me Your Love, or Why Don't You Give Me Your Love? Why Won't You Give Me Your Love? And it was so, like, it enthused you with energy, and it was brilliant, and I thought, what an amazing single from an album. That was a bit Wizard, a bit Gary Glitter. And
We do not mention his name anymore. His name never be spoken again on the BBC.
Take that back.
And also Gary Glitter.
But it had the exact same ending of Why Won't You Give Me a Love as well. It had the same finish and everything, and it just wasn't as triumphant or as brilliant. So I'm hoping the album's going to save the song.
The Zootons have crept up on us, and they seem now to be a mainstay of radios everywhere, and obviously the cover version of Valerie as well is everywhere. Harry, is that a good thing for you? Are you pleased to see such success with the Zootons?
Well, I'm never really pleased to see anyone successful. It always gnaws at me a little bit. You know, just anger, general anger. I quite enjoyed that. Like Sammy said, it was a bit Wizard. I've got Mud and Slade as well. We were talking earlier about how everything sounds like it's made in the 80s at the moment, with really awful synth on top of it. Everything's covered in synth these days. But this wasn't. It was more 70s. It sounded a bit more fun. It was a nice piece of thing, as you put it. But no great shakes for me.
You won't be dancing to it?
I wouldn't be dancing to anything, Steve.
Rufus, I imagine you probably quite enjoy the Zootons, don't you? They probably sit quite nice. If they popped up on the odd iPod, you'd be quite happy.
I have requested a Zootons track a few weeks ago myself, actually. The only thing that really had going for it, that song for me, was that it was very easy to sing along to, because they simply repeated the name of the song about 67 times, as far as I could tell. And it didn't excite me other than that. I found it very boring, I'm afraid.
Blimey, so are we giving it thumbs up or thumbs down? We should probably have some kind of ranking system, shouldn't we, on this? Thumbs down?
Yeah.
Ooh, and a middling from Harry.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Brilliant. I've got this track that I'm going to play now, and we've been trying to seek out information as to why exactly it would have landed in the pigeonhole. It popped in. It's by a San